Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Ortega, and I am the head librarian here at Life Pacific University. Unfortunately, I'm able to be with you this morning, but I want to send greetings to you all and help you along with your Least Evangelized People Group project and give you some resources that are going to be really helpful for you going forward in this project and to get you all the information and just make things a lot easier on you when doing this project for your presentation. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of go through a few slides here. And when we do this, you'll see a few resources on these slides. I'm going to, first things first, I'm going to kind of go through it, and then I'm going to share my screen, and you guys will be able to see the resources, and I'm going to walk you through them a little bit. And so we'll start here at the top. And so for this Least Evangelized People Group project, we're going to help you figure out how to identify a people group. You're going to understand their national context, all the other things around them, some things like their religious background and how to find that information, basic needs of people, and socially, practically, all those things. And like I said, give you some additional resources to find even more information. And so the first thing we want to do is you want to identify a people group. And now this could be done through the Joshua Project. Again, I'm going to go through this real quick, and then I'm going to go back to this so I can share all the links with you guys. And you can see that link is in this project. This project can be made available to you by your professor. And then you can follow those links in order to get to those resources. And so here you're going to find this people group. You're going to find a whole bunch of statistics and other things like that, in which you can first thing you got to do, though, is you got to figure out what people group is the least evangelized. And you'll see that based off of some of the percentages, like say if there's countries out there that are mostly Islamic, right, as opposed to Christianity, and then Christianity and some of those in those places in the Middle East is actually outlawed. And so, that's might be a good place to start, right? So that's one to start with. Understanding their national context. A CI World Factbook is really good for that purpose. And the reason why that is it because it could give you a whole bunch of different places. Now, if you pick a country, like let's say in the Middle East, like Afghanistan, it'll give you something like country flag, maps. So that's one of the things you got to do is you got to provide a map. And then there's the locator map and all that kind of stuff, some facts. It'll give you all the things about their government, their economy, communications, transportation, all these kind of things that are going to be really helpful for you to understand the national context of this nation. And so I'll show you how to do that in just a little bit. Now, some resources that you're initially going to need to look at. The Encyclopedia of Global Studies ebook. Now, this shows here that it is on our website. It actually is not. This is going to be one that you're going to have to go to Google Scholar in order to do this one. And this is all listed and alphabetically. You can go there and you can search through this specific document, and you can go by nation. And once you search out that nation, again, it's all in alphabetical order. And then you can go through and read all the different things, like some histories about that country, something about their religion that they have there, and it may even give you further resources that you might want to look at, and some other. So, like if you were looking at the Democratic Republic of Congo, right, it's going to have survival of ancient shamanism, and they're going to have some other forms of religion there that you can look into, and so you want to make sure that is going to give you some sort of idea about that. Now, when we have, let's see, no, that one actually is available online. Sorry. To understand the religious background, we're going to see a bunch of these books here. This is the one that's going to go on Google Scholar. Now, with this one, this was the book that I was referencing just a second ago, where you can look up the religion, and it's going to tell you a lot of background about that religion, where it came from, how it started, how it's doing, all those kind of things, maybe even the religions before it, and how that affected or influenced what that current religion or that dominant religion that's in that country is all about. And so you can, again, with this book, you can go by, if you already know the major dominant religion based off of the other two websites that we talked about, or if you're looking just at a specific country, you can totally do that. That is fine. Now, the next one is the Encyclopedia of World Religions. And this one basically, what this one will do, now we do have this as a physical copy in the library. If you would like to do that, and you can see the reference number is 200.3 E192. That's the Dewey number and the Cutter number. So if you want to come to the library, come see me in the library and use this book. You can check it out for a couple hours, but it cannot leave the library. You will have to use that while you're still here. And so what this book will essentially do is give you, it's called a reference material because it is basically a commentary on what other resources that people have read in order to, when they've edited this and put this all in this information together. And so basically, you can search by African religions, Anatolian religions, Confucianism, Egyptian religion, Germanic religion, and so Judaism, Mesopotamian, millennialism, all those different pre-Columbian, Mesoamerican religions. So you're going to have to go a little bit on the broader spectrum here when it comes to religion. And so the previous resources are going to be more specific. So we're going specific to broad here with some of these resources, and especially with the religious background sources that we're looking at here. And so even if you have to go a little bit more broad, like mythology or something like that, or Roman religion or Taoism, right? Those are going to give you all those kind of different broader perspectives on the region in which. So again, if you're going with someone in the Middle East, technically Egyptian religion, even though it's in Africa, it's kind of grouped a lot with the Middle East and that kind of religion. So you want to make sure that you're looking at that. You even have some more broad topics like religious experience, because that is going to be important for you to understand when doing this assignment, because you're going to, even though they're going to have a primary religion that you're going to be talking about, there's going to be some other things like with obstacles that might be good for you guys to look at when it comes to this kind of thing, because the religious experience and other of these other kind of topics might have a little new religious movements, like I said, when it comes to things like rituals and how that could all help them in those kinds of barriers and hurdles and things like that that you have to do for the assignment. And so, like, let's say with government resistance, language barriers, things of that nature, is going to be all something that you're going to need to know. And some of this text might help with that. Now, the next one is the Greenhaven Encyclopedia of World Religions. And the reason why this one is important is because, again, it's going to give you a little bit more. Now, this one is a little bit more of a specific title. And so let's say you're going to go back to, let's say, African religions. And so this is going to give you a little bit more of an overview of the African religions in general, and some of the practices that they have and some of the things that were out there with specific tribes and things like that. But then it's going to go a little bit more broad on those, but get a little bit more specific there, like let's say on spiritual possession, right? The more specific topics that have to do with that. And so, as you can see, some of these resources a little bit more broad. They cover more or less the region. Sometimes they will cover the region, but then they'll cover specific aspects of that region and that religion. And so now I need to know that how we understand the needs of the people. And this is done through the operationworld.com site. And so what this does is it tells you things like different statistics, like their population, the type of people groups there are, the different types of languages, other things like that, where you can have a prayer, like things like a prayer resource and things like that. news on the specific place at the moment. And so this gives you just a little bit more, when you look at those prayer points, it's going to give you like a daily prayer profile. And so it basically will give you a snapshot as to what they will specifically need from you today. So there's other, or even tomorrow, or in the future. And so it gives you resources and other things like that. So that's a good idea to look at what some of those needs are, like if they're dealing with war and violence, things like that. That's question number 8 in your assignment instructions. There you have some solutions. And what those that experience with those issues, the solutions maybe could be. And so in accordance to question number 14, what are the group's biggest felt needs and how can those be met? Right? So those are some questions that you're going to need to answer that these kinds of resources are going to be able to help you answer. Now we also have like the Operation World, but then we also have the Wiley Blackwell Companion to World Christianity. And so this is a reference material that talks about the roots of religion and then other issues with those ideologies today. And so what this does is this, again, gives you a little bit more of a, like, let's say if you're doing the Middle East and you're looking at, and in North Africa, you can go to an article that talks about Egypt and North Africa, and then Christians in the Ottoman Empire, right? And so what this could do is talk about the Arab conquest and the Coptics and things like that under Muslim rule. So again, getting a little bit more specific about how these people are affected today and in those specific regions with all these issues that they're having. So that's another question that you're going to have to answer. Is how can you have an effective strategy for reaching people with the gospel? Well, if you read something like this, Compendium to World Christianity, but then you're seeing some of those issues that they're doing in North Africa and Egypt with Christianity, that's going to help you kind of answer that question there and get a lot more detail on that. Now we have some additional resources for you. You can always search our library catalog if you want more or different resources that fit the way that you work better. Statista is a website where you can get more specific stats. So there are some statistics on some of those websites that I mentioned, but they're not as detailed as other ones. So like you can get some of those statistics on the Joshua Project, but you're maybe not going to get as much as you could on Statista and be more specific. You can search out the statistics that you want to get. ATLA and Atlas Religion Database, again, is housing a lot of an EBSCO platform, is going to have a lot of good resources when it comes to religions, one of our bigger databases along with ProQuest to give you the resources that you need in order to get all the answers for these questions. And then the UN Human Development Index, basically what this resource will do, this is a website that is for basically human development reports. And so if you want to look at some of the development data for all the different countries around the world, and so these could be human development reports, global multidimensional poverty index. So if you want to look at gender social norms, if you want to look at all these different things and all these different policies that might affect the outlook or the worldview of the people in specific countries. And so that's what that's going to do for you there, is give you, like, let's say if you're going to go to a country like Belgium, it's going to give you their human development index compared to other countries, and their inequality adjustment, and again, gender identities, gender social norms, and poverty, how their poverty is, planetary pressures, things of that nature, more advanced statistics there. That would be good for you to do. Now, the reason why you would want to do something like Yelp, and that kind of seems old school, kind of out of the way, but the reason why you want to do that is that gives you an insight into their society. It gives you an insight as to what their needs are. It gives you insight as to what they value in their cultural context. To some degree, what their biggest needs are, their biggest complaints are, or their strongest likes, and all those kind of things. So it's just going to give you a little bit more insight into the cultural context of these people, and so that's what you want to look at with the Yelp reviews. Because obviously you can do restaurants, dentists, bars, beauty salons, doctors, all those things. That's all going to give you more insight and advanced statistics. And so let's go and let's now switch. Let's now switch to these websites here. I want to go here and do this with you guys because I want you guys to specifically see what these websites will do, what they look like. So when you get there, you can get a better idea of how to work them. And so we're going to go here. We're going to start the Joshua project here. And you can see here that you have a global dashboard. You have unreached peoples, and you could start just hovering, as you can see, hovering over this like let's say Greenland here. If you want to go into them, you can zoom in right here. Let's say you want to go to Ukraine. You can click on Ukraine, and then it's going to give you the number of people groups unreached. That's 28, so 35% of the people there are unreached, but they have a great progress level. So you can see that the largest religion is Christianity, which is interesting, the fact that they have such a large unreached people group. And so you can see here's all the people groups that are here. You can show by province. You can go by province and their population. You can go by their progress levels here, as far as the reached and unreached, all the different religions broken down by percentages and what those are, their languages, some ministries that are there, and then a little bit more detail about them, some of their more advanced statistics, all broken down right here. And so that's what this is going to be good for, is giving some of those advanced statistics. Now, the next one that I want to show you guys is the CIA, the World Fact Book. So let's go ahead and bring that up. And so with this, you can see here that is the CIA.gov World Fact Book. And what you can do is, what you want to do is go here to countries. Now you can see you could do maps here, which is great. But again, if you're doing a nation in Africa, it gives you some photos, their country flag. Again, that map part that you have to produce, maybe you can get the maps from here, locator map. But here's the big thing: introduction, geography, people and society, right? Their population, nationality, ethnic groups, languages. A lot of what the Joshua Project does, but is a little bit more, the Joshua Project is a little bit more about reaching the unreached. So it's not going to have some of those statistics in there about the gospel and how to reach those people. This is more factual things about that. And so you can see a little bit more about their governments, their economy, transportation, terrorism, transitional issues. So things that some of those things are like trafficking in persons. And so kind of some of the things that they're dealing with, transnational issues, sorry, not transitionals, transnational issues. So some of the things that they're dealing with as a whole with other countries. And so that is that one right there. And so the next one that we see, and this is the global, now this is the one that's on Google Scholar. So this one you can't really search, you could search the book right here. And so what you can do is, if you have the specific country or religion or anything like that, you could search it right there on Google Scholar. This is an open access book, which means that you can search this for free. You don't have to have a subscription to Sage Publications, which this is through, because it is no longer in our database. And so they allow you to do it through open access. And so there you can just get all the information that you need there. Now, again, this is the Encyclopedia of World Religions. Again, another resource. So you can go down here, and the great thing is you could search within this book right here. You can see that over here. If you know what page is on, so you need to go to page 16 to go to African religions. You could just go up there and type in 16, press enter, and it's going to give you around the page that it's going to start. And so here we go. Here it is. You're going to start here. And this is where it's going to start right there. And so you could go down here and go to the table of contents. And then you have your major articles here. So you have your African religions, which is right there, which is on page 36. So ProQuest has got it wrong for you guys, but at least you can see there. See worldwide and divinity, ritual and religious specialists, right? So again, getting a little bit more specific, a little bit more on the broader range here with some of the topics that you're going to be looking at. The next one that is also on ProQuest. So again, make sure that you are signed into your library accounts before going to these, just to get that out of the way. If you don't know how to do that, you can come see me and we'll talk about that. But again, you can just search it right here, or you can go on the left here on the far margin. You can go by topic. So if you know the religion you're going to do or the nation that it's in, you can totally go with it by that. And so this is going to be more or less focusing on the religious aspect or topics related to those specific religions. So you can see, obviously, you have fundamentalism, but you have the Golden Temple, the Gospels, Guru. So if you want to know what a guru is, if something, when you're talking about a world religion, talks about gurus, well, then you can go to here and see what religions those are associated with, and specifically what their patterns are, what their uses are, and how and things like that. The next one that we talked about was the world operation. This was the one that has the daily prayer profile, so you can figure out what their needs are. Specifically for those groups of people. Now, again, it has some statistics here, but if you want to do that, you click on that prayer profile and it'll give you those kind of needs. And within Credo is the Wiley Blackwell Companions to Religion, World Christianity. And so again, this is the one I was talking about earlier. It's going to be a little bit more broad, and it's going to be in relation to Christianity. And so when it talks about your people group, this is going to kind of fix that into, like, say, if they're outlawed in some countries or how they might have dealt with them in the past, things like that. Maybe if there was some sort of, like, say, when there was Islam in Spain with the Moors, then when the Spanish Inquisition goes through and tries to change all that, and how that affects those people there, and how that affected them today. The Human Development Reports, I kind of mentioned that earlier. You search this up here by country, and that gives you some of those advanced statistics. And so you can see you can download that into a CSV, or you can print the page if you need to have it specifically there. And then, of course, we all know Yelp and what that's all good for. All right, so basically what we're doing here is showing you all the different resources that you can have and that we offer to make sure you get all the proper information that you need in order to get this project done, and done well. So this is a group project, so make sure that you divide these up appropriately. It's going to be a lot of work for one person to be going through all these different resources and finding all this information. There's a ton of information that you have to go through. You have to discuss about 15 to 17 different things within this project. So make sure that you divide that up properly. Make sure you're working on it together, that you're bringing all information together, discussing that properly. If you have any questions about these resources, how to use them better, please come and see me in the library. And I'm looking forward to hearing how this is going. Thank you guys for your time. And now it is time for some questions.